Greene, senior research analyst at Greene Global Economics. Bill is still with us in the States as well. Can Spain possibly, I mean, this party was the one that sort of got them ready for sort of Euro membership, but then they had a weaker peseta. Can they possibly achieve what they aim to do in the strictures that are being laid down for them?
Well, they can implement the austerity measures that they'll announce, and they can implement structural reforms. But if the end game is to stay in the Eurozone, no, I don't think that they can achieve that. They won't be taking, government for another month. So there's a lot of uncertainty still to go. But on top of that, they're going to have to implement austerity measures, which is going to undermine growth. And so Spain's debt to GDP in the short term is going to look worse. And the structural reforms they're going to implement will be good for Spain in the medium to long term, but they'll take a couple years to bite and start supporting growth.
Yeah, and they've got unemployment, youth unemployment, well over 40%. They're only going to make that worse in the short term. How much? There's a question here. Germany has decided that the answer to this is not reflation. It's fiscal union on their terms, which basically means austerity, budget cuts, and not a lot else. Are the people in those countries going to put up with that? I mean, they seem to be taking a vote that if we promise you a better Europe in the future, the one we should have had in the first, that they'll put up with it.
Yeah, I don't think that they will over the long term. You're right to say Germany's demanding an asymmetric readjustment in the Eurozone. Germany's not willing to change its current account surplus or take any kind of hit in the adjustment. All of the weaker countries are having to do it. And so Germany's essentially running these weaker countries into the ground in terms of economic growth. And I think over time, we've seen it in Greece first, but we'll see it in these other countries as well. As they implement austerity and growth continues to fall, things just get worse. I think these people are going to tolerate it less and less.
And let alone the people, how long will the markets give these plans? I mean, we're fighting hard here to keep yields below 7%. The ECB is going to have its work cut out. I mean, forget the lender of last resort discussion. They're just going to have their work cut out to keep below 7%. I mean, how much time are the markets going to give this before they see patently the economic plans aren't going to work?
I don't think they're going to give it any time. I mean, Spanish yields have already risen, as you said, after 34 minutes. I think probably the best bet is for them to cobble together another big bazooka involving IMF financing so that they can fully take Spain and Italy out of the markets. But according to my calculations, they'll only be able to cover Spain and Italy's debt and deficit funding costs till the end of the first quarter 2013, at which point both countries will have implemented austerity measures, their structural reforms won't have bitten, and they won't be able to return to the markets. I think at that point there won't be any options for another bailout, so we'll see bail-ins, we'll see debt restructurings in Italy and Spain.
Okay, so you're talking about Italian-Spanish debt restructurings 2013,
yeah,
first
end of
quarter.
2013, beginning 2014.
Okay. Oh, well, that's something to look forward to. Cheering me up no end, Bill, Megan is. How do you get growth? Look, how do you get growth going in these countries? Because that's actually what they need. They don't, they need something else besides, but just cutting.
No, I think that's right. I think the markets aren't going to just solely settle on austerity as something to give them comfort going forward. If you don't see the growth, you don't see that unemployment rate starting to come down, if you don't see GDP moving in the right direction, I don't know how anyone gets comfortable that these frameworks are sustainable. That's my biggest concern. And so in terms of markets not giving time simply for the austerity to start to take effect, if they don't start seeing things on the revenue side, because it's both a spending and a revenue problem if you think about GDP growth as a function of national revenue.
All right, thanks so much. We're going to leave it there.